Hello. Hello.
My name is Dennis. I'm with the.
Hello.
Iguodala Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, Super Bowls, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Welcome. All right, we got Tom in here. Welcome.
Here we are.
I think it's the ninth broadcast of 4-4-0 in goal. This is Ryan coming live from my basement once again. Above me, we got Sam Torres, definitely in his basement. I am digging that flag behind you, Sam. And then we got Tom.
Yeah, I got some more going to figure it out.
Yeah, Tom to the right of me. Welcome everyone to the show. We're pretty pumped. A lot of good topics to cover tonight. So yeah, this is the just starting off. I want to welcome everyone that's here. I do believe it's showing. It shows 3 on my end, but usually we have 10 to 15 by now. It is a little bit of a delayed share. So I want to let everyone know what 4-4-0 in goal, kind of what we do, and it's really more than anything is our goals are to report on local sporting news as well as Cleveland sports. But it's really, everyone that's watched us has seen, we did that live interview with Elijah Cooper, sit down with Sammy. He just did the one on the extra content on the show with Terry Henton. And then Tom's going to have a table talk with Tom coming up here soon. He'll be doing one with Anthony Pig Carlisle. So everyone keep a lookout for that. Very pumped. But you guys say hi real quick.
What's up, everybody? Again, this is my favorite part of the week. I can't wait to get started.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Super pumped to be here with you for our 9th episode. Special shout out, new song for the intro. My buddy from my workplace, Jake Dallas is his rap name. Go check him out. He's got an Instagram. He's on Apple Music, so that's pretty legit. So go check him out. So special thanks to you, bro. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we that's
that
Jake,
song, that intro was absolutely fire.
Yep. Yeah, awesomeness.
So
yeah, that he just sent that to us. I think he did that just like overnight, didn't he, Tom? I mean, it was just like yesterday we got it, right?
Bro, we got it yesterday. I hit him up on I hit him up Monday, I think, and that dude was he was so down, he was so ready, and he's got more to come for us, that's for sure. He's already talking about a couple other things he wants to do for us. So
yeah, that's awesome. Pretty pumped about that when we heard that. That was pretty epic. I want to thank all. I think we're about 430 followers, if I recall, looking last time. So I want to thank
440.
All right, 440 followers. So in about a month's time, we're probably knocking on a month right now, but about a month's time, 430 followers. So everyone that's followed us, thank you. We can say nothing, give nothing but love for doing it. But do us a favor, share it with your friends. So this post right now, what's going out, like it, share it. We want to get it out there to the Ashtabula community. We talk a lot about what's going on in the community. So don't forget to like and share the video. So, gentlemen, Sammy, Tom, why don't we just dive right on into our
David
usual...
Reeves, here he is.
Yep.
My favorite anti-hero, David Reeves. What up, David?
What up, David? Yeah, he's becoming a regular. I mean, if this was, a bar, we'd be sliding the beer over to him by now. He wouldn't even have to ask. But so let's move into it. Let's right into our COVID-19, which I almost forgot to have on here, to be honest with you. So, but COVID-19, 126 cases, 15 deaths. Sorry, that was supposed to stay up there a second longer, but let me. So not a huge jump. I think we increased. I think last time 2 days ago we were at 13 and around 117 cases. I know a large portion of it is over at the Sabre Landing, correct? I think 35 or 40 cases. I don't know how many more have been since there because that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't gotten an updated number on it.
But this stuff, it spreads like wildfire. We all know that, interesting topics to get into. One, I did read today, so I'm going to throw not a real big loophole, but I just what your guys' perspective is. DeWine, and I just thought about this, so sorry, guys, but DeWine is going to be extending the stay at home starting tomorrow. He should announce it. So I'm really kind of confused on it, and the simple fact is a stay-at-home orders stay at home, but he's opening all these businesses up. So if anyone has any take on that real quick before we move into the first topic.
Yeah. If you don't mind. Yeah, here, go ahead, Sammy. Go ahead.
So here's the thing with the stay-at-home order and the businesses reopening. It's the same as when the stay-at-home order went into begin with. It is telling people to minimize your trips outside and, not do parties and maintain social distancing. But guess what? Grocery stores are still going to be packed. Walmart's still going to be packed. Manufacturing is starting back up. We've got people, complaining about wearing masks. I won't go, back into that, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, it's the stay-at-home order. Honestly, I think you need to realize that this could very, very well could go until July, where until July, you are not going to be able to just get together in large groups or maybe even further than that. So we are going to try and get this economy going back. I understand that it needs to happen. That is absolutely true. But the stay-at-home order, and I think, Ryan, that is exactly why he didn't paint a number on it. That's why he didn't say, we're going to stay at home until the 15th, because I think he's sick of saying, well, we're going to do it until this. We're going to do it until this.
100%.
And then having to come back and
mm-hmm.
All right. So,
and go back on his word.
Yeah.
So when this all started, to use like a football analogy, I kind of viewed Mike DeWine as Bill Belichick. He was so far ahead of what people were doing. He was very, very decisive in what he was doing. And then the past few days, it's kind of like, especially with the face masks. First people had to wear them. Now they don't. Now it's strongly recommended. He went from Bill Belichick to Freddie Kitchens in terms of decisiveness, and now he's almost done like a metamorphosis into like a Bill O'Brien sort of like what are you doing? Like, you're doing this stuff and you want to like be effective and everything, but like I'm just kind of more confused now than I was maybe a month ago when he was, like I said, making those Belichick decisions. Now he's making those Bill O'Brien trade DeAndre Hopkins for Brandon Cooks decisions. Like, it's just kind of like, go back to what worked for you, man. Be that decisive person we know you are and who you can be. Be Belichick for us, because that's what we need. He's the closest we're ever going to get to Belichick.
Here's what we got going on with DeWine, okay? DeWine, I truly believe in my heart of hearts, his heart is in the right place. I think he wants to put Ohioans at the forefront and make sure we are as safe as we possibly could. That is really a stark contrast to some other states. Any governor, anybody in this position is just getting pelted with special interest groups who don't care about anything but their own special interest groups that just are going over the top to try and get him to make decisions in their favor. I think what happened with the masks is he got pressured into taking it off the public because large corporations and big money lobbying groups told him that we will lose business if you push this out and continue it. And if we lose business, you will lose our support. I think he then backtracked on what he said initially, saying that they're no longer going to be required. I think he then had to go home and look at himself in the mirror and realize that he is putting hundreds of thousands of people at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, I think he backtracked yet again. And basically, instead of going 100 this way or 100 that way, found a medium where he says, look, I can't control the customers, but I can control the workers. If you're going to work, you're going to comply. If you are not going to comply with your work, then you are not going to work. The customers, you are being highly recommended to wear these masks. So basically what he's done is he said, you know what? If you guys don't like it, police yourselves. But I'm going to make sure that the work part, the people who are working, who are going out there trying to do the right thing, aren't going to be put at risk.
Sure.
Yep, definitely co-signing with that. I think as a group here, I would say for 4-0 goal. I don't want to kind of tag ourselves to anything. But I wear a mask.
Me and Kyle hits it on the head right here, and I think that's a big factor too. I think, and this isn't just the governor. I think corporations are going to fall under this too. There are going to be lawsuits for people who are negligent in protecting people from COVID, because there are documented ways to avoid it. And if you're not doing that, then you are negligent. And guess what? You deserve to pay every penny that they take from you.
100%.
Right. Especially if the worst happens, such as a death. You know, because that's really what we're trying to prevent more than anything, and there's, like you said, there's documented ways to go about things. And as long as those are followed, you'll be all right. But, as like I said, I was saying earlier, I think I can sign up everyone on this show here. I wear a mask everywhere I go. I even turn around when I forget to wear my mask. So don't forget to bring your mask with you, wear it. I am going to be a big proponent of that, because it's not helping me as a person or you as a person. It's helping the next person, the person next to you 6 feet away from you. So don't forget to wear your mask. All right. So kind of still sticking with the COVID topic, we're going to move on to what are local schools doing as far as graduation ceremonies. Now, I think Sam, you said, was it what school's having like a 6-day adventure?
I'm not sure what school is doing the 6-day. It's a school, I want to say maybe Twinsburg,
North Olmsted,
where they are going to have, or North Olmsted, they're going to have groups of students or groups 10 and of 10 and under go through and do these individual graduations where they get to walk across the stage, and they're using Autorama. So Autorama is this giant
huge
movie theater, which I actually I went and watched it at Autorama with my good friend Nick and his wife Carly. It was fantastic, other than the fact that there were creeps out there in yellow raincoats. But it's this great piece of land, and that is something, Ashtabula, if the weather wasn't garbage all the time, really would be able to consider, because we have large portions of area out here where you could do that and keep people spread out. But speaking to that, I commend Ashtabula area city schools, because what they're doing is this giant like virtual Google Classroom where they're asking the whole community log in and watch these kids and make it so these kids might have had a couple thousand eyes on them. We can get even more than that. These schools are really up against it for this, because these seniors, you remember graduation day. Like, there's something to be said. It's like that breath of fresh air. Like, I made it. You know what I mean? And we are not removed from. I think this generation still is going to have people that maybe these kids were the first to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big deal. So congrats, kudos to these school systems that are going above and beyond to try and figure it out. Janine Kyle says St. John is doing a drive-up graduation. What a great idea. You know what? This really serves to show that in times of crisis, I feel like we can make it. And that's why it doesn't matter what this virus throws at us. And I know what the numbers say financially are going to happen. I don't care what this virus throws at us. I believe that deep down, our communities, and this community in particular, will come together and we will make it right. We might not be happy about it, but we will make it right. What's up, Scony Don, the legend, the man himself?
Scone.
Uncle Scony. Oh, man.
He just like pops in and then gets out real quick. But go ahead, Tom.
It's all love,
Go ahead, Tom.
So just kind of like going off of what you were saying, Sammy. Graduation day is a humongous day for so many people. But then you have in the past, you had some people, and I'm just going to throw it out there, someone like me who was just so ready to get out of high school and get ready to go on to my next academic endeavor, which was college for me. So I didn't see graduation as that big of a deal because I knew that I was going to make it and I was already into college, But now seeing this and hearing these things that like Lakeside wants to do, St. John's going to do, North Olmsted's doing, it's such a great thing that they're doing because these kids that might feel the way that I was feeling back then now have a totally different perspective now. Because it's like, I haven't been with, like, not me, but, put myself in the position of one of these younger kids. I'm not with my buddies. I'm not with my teachers anymore. There's a lot of uncertainty. So this thing that is certain, this thing that's concrete, it's going to kind of make it all worth it in a sense, because it's so uncertain right now that you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. But if you have this to look forward to, it's going to make that light at the end of the tunnel feel so much better to get there. And I really think it behooves other school districts to kind of take a look and an example from what Lakeside's doing or St. John and say, hey, we owe it to these kids to really, make this day special, even though it might just be another day for other people.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Tom.
Listen, I'm going to liken I'm going to liken high school to building a house. And people know, I think a lot of people know this, this famous speech given by the great Jay Corlew. Freshman year, you are putting down the foundation. And that's true. Your freshman year, you're getting the foundation down and you're learning who you are and who you're going to be and how you're going to get this up. Your sophomore year, you're getting the walls up. You're getting all of the 2x4s and getting everything set up for the bones of the house. Mm-hmm. Your junior year, you're getting the walls put in, the drywall, the insulation, the pipes, all this other great stuff. Your senior year is when you are screwing in the light bulbs, touching up the paint. Mm-hmm. And like my guy, Jay Corlew, said after we took a loss against Riverside that we should have never lost, and pardon my French, it's like the goddamn thing fell down on me. And that's what happened with these seniors. They did all this work. And by the time they got a chance to sit and look at their house that they've worked all these years to build, the thing fell down on them. And it's really a shame. But coming back to that point, these kids, and I said this in my interview with Terry as well, these kids, this senior class gets to be adults way before we did, because the world got real for them before they even got to get into the world. So this this tragedy is going to form them into a stronger decision-making group.
Yeah.
100%. So I really, I feel bad for them, but I really do. I think they're going to thrive in this. And these freshmen that are putting down the foundation, in the words of Jay Corlew, their foundation is going to be a little bit shaky, and they're going to have to get over that. So they too are going to benefit.
Yeah,
whether they want to or not. That is that's the official throwback to the Jay Corlew speech that I get asked to do on a daily basis by anybody.
You did it 2 shows in a row now. There was one specific request last show to redo it, but we all love it. I've heard it. I couldn't tell you.
I am having trouble seeing Ryan. So can you see Ryan, Tom?
Oh yeah, I can see Ryan. Very privileged. He's looking great tonight.
Yep. Do
Okay,
a quick
well then
refresh.
I think I'm having some trouble over here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am going to reload in.
So while Sammy's going and reloading, doing his thing, I did have a thought myself. I guess as far as Lakeside, they have this beautiful venue over at Lakeside, the stadium there. I don't know how many kids would be graduating this year. I have truly no idea. But as big as that stadium is, why couldn't we hold a 2 or 3 day event of sorts? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Let's see if
Absolutely.
I get there, Sammy. Yeah. So,
But-
Sammy,
but
can you hear us?
definitely- Okay, well, we can't hear you, Sammy.
Can't hear you.
So
Unplug your mic, plug it back in.
going off of what you said, Ryan, if Lakeside does have a beautiful venue to do that at, it's probably
How
one of
about
the
now?
nicest things
We're
I've
good?
seen. The onus is on the leadership from the school board, the principal, teachers, and even like some of like the leaders of the student body to go out there and really pump that up and really make it so that people are comfortable. Because anytime right now that you're talking about getting a gathering of a lot of people, I think that there's going to be pause and there's going to be a hesitation. But if leadership can come together and say, hey, this is how we're going to do it, this is our concrete plan, and there's not going to be compromise from this plan, that's what I think would really comfort a lot of people. Because sometimes when people make a decision or when they say they're going to do something, in the back of your mind, there's always the thought of, well, what if there's compromise? Maybe it's a conscious thought, maybe it's a subconscious thought. So if they can alleviate those fears and assure the people that there's not going to be a compromise and this is how it's going to be done, I think that could be a fantastic way to make these young men and women who have worked so hard their whole life, that have gotten hit, to come back and react to that hit in such a way that they are not only prepared for the world, but also they're showed that, there is good and there are ways that we can develop into young men and women that can make a concrete decision and not compromise.
I was
that's lost when you're a young adult.
Yeah, I guess my whole thought behind it was, the stay-at-home order where we sit right now. You're staying at home with your immediate family. So, example, in my home, let's just assume my son was graduating this year. It would be me, my wife, and my son. So why couldn't when you go to graduation, they use the faculty members that are there to help designate where people are. You got to wear your mask, all that, but you could group everyone in their immediate family and then keep the next immediate family 6 foot apart or further, whatever it may be.
Sure.
It was just a thought. It would help.
It's a great thought.
Alleviate the thought of having 3,000 kids or whatever, 3,000 people all next to each other. And if you got to do it over a 2 or 3 day period, you got 2 sides of the field. You know what I mean? You got the bleacher side, you got the home side, the away side. Have 500 on one side, 500 on the other, if you could do it. And it might be a 5 day period, whatever it may be. But there's no reason not to, go with it in that aspect. But, so yeah, I mean, that's just my feeling on it. That was something that I felt I should talk about. Just as you see, I kind of went with it. So, anyone else? Anything else on that, guys? Ooh, AJ Long brings up a great point. Just now that we're on that topic, but Spire could logistically put these things on. Yeah, we have this
really
multi-million-dollar sporting complex with, I don't know what, 3 indoor full-size football soccer fields and the outside soccer field. I mean, they genuinely could. Yeah, that's something we're gonna have to maybe dive into a little bit. I don't know how we could. If anyone has any,
I would like to see it, because I don't know that they've jumped into action on anything community wise here, and I could be wrong. But what I'm saying here is just from somebody who has watching it from the outside in, I know that the people of Geneva do a lot of payment toward that giant megaplex, and I'm not sure that they do enough for the community. So that would be a nice little extra for them to do. Shout out to Emilio Parks on here. I really want to hear him talking when we start talking about Draymond Green, because he's the only person I know that likes him.
Sconey, I wish if you could elaborate a little bit on the 5-hour graduation, your thought, just something to put out there. But and then I have to, as much as I don't want to do this, but it gave me a little giggle. Outdoor ceremony, bubble balls, problem solved. Yeah, I don't know how well that's going to work, John, but I love the idea. I mean, I get it. So, yeah, and Sconey
we
is
can't
right.
even get people to wear. We can't even get people to wear a mask before they go to Walmart. You think they're going to get a giant bubble ball?
You know what? There'd probably be a lot of them that would, to be honest with you. Someone decorate it, have it lit up on the inside.
All you would need is Sconey Pearson standing out there with his arm crossed and be like, "No, baby, you're not getting in. Not unless you get in that bubble ball. Get in there, boy."
I mean, there would be. Let me tell you, there would be a few other words involved with that.
Oh yeah,
much as I know Sconey, it ain't gonna be just that simple. But he would let you know about yourself.
People are gonna listen to Sconey too. He's got a way. He's got a way of making them listen. That's why he's my guy.
Much love to Uncle Sconey over there.
Much love to Scone. All right. Anything else on that, guys, before we move on?
No, I'm straight. I'm good.
Okay. Next on our agenda, let me get this off of here. We just so you guys know, we do have the 3-division baseball agenda, but we wanted to talk about I think the next one was actually going to be the 2021 Olympics. I might have that backwards. I apologize, but I know that's COVID related. Mm-hmm. So right now they're I think it is.
Let me check host chat.
Yeah. All
right.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I'm pretty sure.
So it's definitely baseball. It's baseball right now.
Okay.
So
sorry, my bad.
Let's go baseball.
We're going baseball. Never mind. So let me pop this up. I got us a nice little the 2020 shortened season MLB proposed division. All right. So going on there, let me get rid of the thing. So as you guys probably watching ESPN, excuse me, and whatever else it may be, this is a proposed. I don't know if this is part of that Arizona plan we talked about before a couple months or weeks ago, but I do really. What is your guys' opinion on doing this? Obviously, it's because of a shortened season, trying to they're going to be doubling up. But
I'm going to go first real quick because I don't talk long on baseball, and Tom is going to have a much more thorough analysis, of this. But I've always thought that this is basically how the baseball division should be anyway. I think geographically it makes no sense how some of them work. I would love for everybody to be grouped in together, and then you take the outliers and just plug them in somewhere. So I have no problem with this, and I don't think many baseball people are going to have a problem with this because it's this or no baseball, and you're not telling anybody who likes baseball they're not getting baseball.
I could agree with that. Tom?
Heck yeah. So I love the divisions that are proposed in this, man. Oh my gosh. The East Coast, you could base that in Florida. West Coast, you could throw that in Arizona. In the Central Division, just throw that bad boy in Texas. The rivalries in that would be insane. You could have like the Red Sox versus the Phillies, man. Red Sox, Phillies. Harper was linked to the Red Sox. Huge. So you're going to have Bryce Harper playing the team he spurned to go to the Phillies, who have a revamped offense and a revamped pitching staff, going against a team that was so dominant for so long and now just lost Mookie Betts. I mean, that'd be insane. I mean, Indians and Braves. I would just lose my mind if I could get series of Frankie Lindor versus Ronald Acuna Jr., man. That would just be the best thing. If this is Frankie's last year in Cleveland, the best thing to see that boy playing against Acuna, a great young prospect, just like he was, going against each other toe to toe for a series. Then you got the
you know
White
what though,
Sox-
Tom?
Yes, Sam.
Nick Billman brings up a good point in that Atlanta and Pittsburgh really should be switched there. Pittsburgh is a central team. Atlanta is an east team. I'm not sure that just
Well,
geographically.
It's the Pirates. The
You know.
Pirates don't matter.
I would, yeah, but I
Pirates
would
don't
love to have a Cleveland Indians Pittsburgh Pirates rivalry. That would be awesome.
Oh, it would be insane. Just to see like Cleveland and Pittsburgh in football is just so storied.
Ryan, you can take that
Being able
down
to
or
have
put it
even
minimized.
for a year of like Cleveland going up against Pittsburgh. But the thing is when you look at these divisions, I see a lot of competitive balance. So you're going to see a lot of very competitive baseball, and I feel that that's why a lot of people kind of get turned off by baseball, because there's such a talent disparity a lot of times in these divisions. And honestly, I really probably wouldn't tune in for like an Indians Pittsburgh game like I would an Indians Braves game. But then like if you look there, I mean, you have the White Sox and the Reds. The White Sox and the Reds are together. Those are
Hold on, I gotta see your face when you're saying this, because hold on, you're gonna sit there and tell me. Let me.
There you go.
You're gonna tell me right now, Tom, that you want to see the Atlanta Braves play the Indians more than Pittsburgh, the team that we can throw rocks at.
Mhm.
You would rather watch them play the Braves? I disagree, bud. I disagree.
Because this isn't football. Because this isn't football.
Right, but just because this
the
isn't
thing
football
is-
doesn't mean Atlanta is a 4-hour flight away from here.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh, you work with guys from Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Like that.
My best friend
just
from Pittsburgh.
geographically, that makes more sense. That's where rivalries really
sure.
come from, especially back in the day. It was, Ashtabula is a great area for this because we are in between Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. So really, you can be a fan of any of those teams because it's basically the same distance to get to see these teams. But Atlanta might as well be a million miles away. Plus, screw Atlanta and Chipper Jones for life, ever. We'll get into that in another show. I hope that honestly, I hate no team in baseball more than Atlanta, except maybe Detroit.
But the great thing would be to see like Frankie versus Acuna. I mean, you couldn't even write something even better. And then just moving on from that a little bit, I'm going to disregard the comment on the side over there. But the White Sox Reds are great young teams that are coming up against each other. You couldn't write something better than those two teams duking it out. And then the Dodgers and the Astros in the same division. Oh my gosh, a rematch of the World Series that you could see regularly. And the cool thing about that too is you probably wouldn't have a DH. So we kind of get back into what we were talking about a couple shows ago, where you're going to see more transcendent things from positional players and from pitchers. Like Shohei Ohtani.
Do you want people to watch baseball or do you not? Serious question.
Of course I do.
You want baseball to gain notoriety. You want people to watch it, right?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
So here's the problem.
Okay.
Here's the problem.
Okay.
You get rid of the DH, casual fans aren't watching because baseball, they want offense. They don't want to see some pitcher come out and slap shot one into, in between second base and shortstop. That's just not what casual fans want. Big fat guys that can hardly make it to casual fan. Well, you're not a casual fan though. I am. So I can tell you from my mentality as a casual fan, they want to see some guy that hits the ball 14 miles away, but has to take a break halfway to first base because he's such a hog. I don't want to see some guy out there built like Tim Lincecum swinging a bat that he looks like he has to get a running start to move off of his shoulder. Okay. I understand. I really do that there are some sweet, very technical portions of baseball. But if you want to get casual fans in there, the first thing you have to get rid of is, so you're talking position players of Lindor versus this guy, you know what I mean, with Atlanta. You got to throw that out. And you got to go geographic. You want casual guys in there. You got to have guys that are like, listen, I married this beautiful woman from Pittsburgh. Her brother's a jerk off, and I want my team to beat him. All right. That's how you're going to get guys in there like that. And I understand, like, there is a, baseball is it's a beautiful sport for people who are way into it. And I like to watch it, but I'm going to tell you right now, a pitcher's duel, I'm turning it off in the third inning. And that's every.
I don't know.
Fan.
I don't know. I know if Dean Callender and Mike Malaragno would be on here. I'm a casual fan, and if that pitcher is lighting up the box, man, and just being, I would want to watch it. And I would say, I mean, I think, Sam, you're kind of putting pitchers down a little bit on their hitting capability. I mean, to get into the position they are, they had to bat at some point in time in their life. Are they as good as someone that right? No, they're not. But I mean, how fun is it to watch? My thing is, how many times have you watched a pitcher, smack one out of the park on accident? That's a blast to watch when that happens. Doesn't happen often, but it is.
That's why. Do you know why it's a blast? Because it never happens.
Right. But it is still fun to watch him, the underdog, the guy that's supposed to strike out, the guy that's probably going to lay down the bunt just to hope to get the first. He slaps one through first and second base. I'm down with it. I like it.
Are you going to sacrifice that one transcendent moment where this pitcher hits the ball, a ton, which very rarely happens, and then have to deal with guys like I said, Tim Lincecum, Bob Wickman, swinging the ball, looking like the least athletic people on the earth. And you're going to deal you're going to deal with an entire spot. And even more, even better yet, how does it feel? And I understand the strategists are going to love it, but casual fans, you're a casual Indians fan, and we're down by 1. And in your 9th spot, here comes, AAA Tommy, from fresh up from the Akron Arrows, who can't even swing a bat with a weight on it, and he's who you're gonna put your bets on to win the game. Absolutely not. I can't do it, man. I know baseball purists, and I will go into another tangent on that. Baseball purists are actually bad for baseball because they chase casual fans away.
I'll co-sign with that. I will.
Baseball
I
more than any other sport has an elitist fan base that if you don't understand the game completely and thoroughly, you are looked down upon. And that's one of the biggest problems with it. I like baseball. I understand it enough to be able to watch it, but it's very hard for casual fans to get into it because if you don't understand war and all the different terminology that they use, it's like sitting in a Japanese business meeting. You have no idea what's going on. You just smile and nod.
Well, I'm gonna
Tom wants to go. I see it. It's just eating away at him right now. Let him go.
Hold on. I gotta go with what John said because he's all for a slugfest, but no-nos are epic and harder than hitting the ball. He's right, but no-nos usually don't get the drive until inning 8, inning 9 when it's potentially going to happen.
I was just going to say that. No-nos aren't fun until the 9th inning.
6th or 7th, man, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they're exciting when you're watching in the 8th inning and there's 6 more outs and this dude is doing his thing, but it's not exciting until 7, 8, 9. Yeah. And then the pitcher comes up and slaps it through first and second base. Anywho, go on, Tom.
All right, so we're talking here that like people want to see offense. People want to see like Sammy made the point. Like people don't want to see an overweight dude who like hits the ball. Like I don't agree with that. Like Prince Fielder is me, Sammy, and Ryan combined, and then we ate the person that was combined. That dude was all of 700 pounds and 5'7" and could rope the ball. I would rather see Prince Fielder hit a baseball right now than honestly, and it's going to be sacrilegious to say this, I would rather see Prince Fielder hit a baseball than Cody Bellinger. Because Prince Fielder.
So you're mixed up with what I was saying, though, Tom. I said people want to see those big fat hogs hit the ball.
Okay.
They want to see these big giant guys cream it rather than an anorexic pitcher throw his arms that are the same length or width as the bat around. You know what I mean? And I've seen it like
the other reason people aren't as into baseball, and I'm going to tell you right now, Baseball doesn't have Kenny Powers. Okay, the HBO Eastbound and Down show. There is no Kenny Powers or Reg McWorthy out there. You're effing out. You know what I mean? After he strikes a guy out. You know, we haven't seen that since John Rocker. The closest thing that Major League Baseball has to a Kenny Powers, if it's even like comparable, would be Trevor Bauer. But Billman just put up a good point. They refuse to market their stars. Trevor Bauer went on a rant 2 months ago on like his Twitter and everything, like, and that dude like got called to the commissioner's office and fined for his thoughts. Like, we had Trevor Bauer in Cleveland and we didn't realize what we had because that dude was out there trying to market himself and the Cleveland Indians. So the casual fan isn't invested because there's not a personality like LeBron James or Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, like basketball, or like a Baker Mayfield for like the NFL, like a dude who's out there to talk, a guy who's out there to have some swagger. I think a lot of people's tunes would change if there was a Kenny Powers on the field. Like, and as far as baseball fans, the elitists chasing people off, I think that's kind of a misconception. I think in any fan base, there's elitist fans that kind of chase off a casual fan. For years, I wasn't a football fan because my father was out there just grilling me with stats and like, how do you not understand what offsides is? How do you not understand like how the penalties work? So I was turned off for like 5 years about it because I was like, dude, like, this isn't even cool. Like soccer has these elitist fans that are just like, hey, well, if you don't like Manchester United, like, you don't like sports. You know what I mean?
And that's why that's why it can't take off here, Tom.
But baseball fans, those elitist fans, more than anything, want to educate a casual fan and say, hey, this is how it works. Like, baseball's the only sport that I could go to the game with you and Ryan, and we could be drinking our beers and having a hot dog and just have like a chat for like 45 minutes and look back and not miss a thing because baseball is so accessible. And a lot of people don't understand how accessible baseball is. And I think the onus is on an elitist fan to come out there and explain things and kind of, you know, show why this is such a pure and great game. Yeah, it was tarnished by steroids. Yeah, the product fell off for a minute, but we are in a generational time in baseball where we have guys like Frankie, Jose Altuve, Cody Bellinger, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper. We just saw the Korean, the Asian leagues have a humongous resurgence. Ichiro just retired, man. We have Shohei Ohtani back there. The last guy to have Shohei Ohtani stats was Babe Ruth. Okay, like, who else can say that? Babe Ruth was the last person to have the stats that kid has, and no one talks about it.
That's one of the problems. That's one of the problems with baseball. Baseball, of all the sports, here's what's going on with baseball. They are the very last to catch up with the times. All right. The only time that baseball has been ahead of the curve was when they went interracial because they were the first sport to do it. All right. Yeah, so after integrating baseball and allowing black people to play, they just figured we've done our job. We're not going to keep up with the times. So they are behind the times in keeping up with today and trying to get into youth. All right. Youth baseball has finally got an upswing again, but youth baseball in the early 2000s went through probably the worst time in its history. Second problem is in baseball has some absolute studs that you in a sport that doesn't wear face masks, that doesn't wear helmets, you could literally be next to him in Walmart, have absolutely no idea who he is. Because I can promise you right now, if we put Mike Trout in the middle of Ashtabula Walmart, it would be about an hour before anybody figured out who he is. And they said that this guy's like the best player since Babe Ruth. All right. So they do an absolutely poor job of putting their players out. And the players that they do put out, that they do push to be popular, are like Bryce Harper and stuff like that. They're just plain out not likable.
Okay.
The second, the other problem that they have with baseball, I think, is the fact that
Later, Scone.
Uncle Sconey,
have a good one. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, the biggest problem is the fact that they don't keep up with the times, and they don't want to pump their fans up, or they don't want to pump their stars out. You know what I mean? They get, honestly, you could name more hockey players than baseball players if you saw them face to face. I can guarantee you that.
I can't name a hockey player.
Maybe like Wayne
And
Gretzky.
I promise you right now, if Sidney Crosby and Mike Trout went to the same store, Sidney Crosby is getting noticed before Mike Trout.
Oh my!
And
gosh.
hockey is really niche around. I mean, hockey has a loyal fan base, but it's nowhere near what baseball should be. They just produce better fans. Alex Ovechkin is getting noticed before any baseball player.
Okay.
It's a good opinion. That's all it is.
That's a good opinion, but Alex Ovechkin also is at the cusp of greatness. Alex Ovechkin, before all this stuff happened, was Alex Ovechkin was about to break some records, man. Alex, and in baseball,
Marcus Pearson
now,
brings up a great point too.
Yeah, he does.
The baseball season is like 700 games long.
Yeah, yeah.
161.
It's wild. It's wild how many games it is. It's absolutely
Tom,
insane.
what is one thing in your life you want to do 162 times? Like, I can't.
He said the show. I like it. He said the show. Let's see.
No, I mean,
I will say the comment box is blowing up. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Let's hear it.
But the other thing too is if we went to a shorter season, we wouldn't be getting these contracts that they're getting right now. Think about the market that's set for baseball players. Like Bryce Harper signed the most ridiculous and I'll just put it this way. If I had Bryce Harper's money, I would be wiping my behind with $20 bills all day, every day. I'd make it a point to go to the bathroom more than 4 times a day.
Yeah, how's that working out for Philly?
Actually, it's on the upswing. It's on the upswing.
It still didn't work out the way it should.
I mean, you could argue too, though. I mean, baseball has the 161 games, but it's almost for monetary reasons. I mean, before the 161 games, I think it was in the 1960s, they expanded it to the 161 when Maris hit the 61st home run. The thing is people, if you remember, people wanted to take away Maris's record because it wasn't done in the time that Ruth did it. So honestly, they've already expanded it. I can't see them bringing down the schedule or anything. I mean, it's just I think 161 games is perfect. I really do. You want to talk about October? I can't think of a more special thing in October. What, the Cavs play the Mavericks on opening day for the NBA season, and Luka Doncic drops 40 points, and who is it? Colin Sexton drops 19 with 1 assist and 7 turnovers. I'd rather see a meaningful game in October, man. I'd rather see Cody Bellinger going up against Jose Altuve.
That's you, but that's you, but I can promise you, largely on a local level and definitely on a national level, basketball is going to outdraw a good basketball matchup is going to outdraw a baseball matchup, even in October.
Oh, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I think we need to get some.
I can tell you that's for sure. You get, LeBron and, rest in peace, Kobe going at each other in October. They're outdrawing baseball, especially depending on who the teams are. There are a couple teams in baseball that move the needle when they play. And obviously that's the Yankees and the Sox, the Dodgers, the Astros are actually falling into that because of the hatred for them.
Yeah.
Those guys are moving the team, but I'm telling you, if it's an October classic where you've got Milwaukee and Atlanta, or Milwaukee, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Cleveland, it's not gonna stand well anywhere else in the country.
But I think so. I think what Sammy, maybe he's having a hard. Well, I don't want to talk for him, but when I think of baseball, I think about the Indians of old, that 95, 97 season where you could, I remember me and Sammy going tooth and nail about whether Manny Ramirez is better than Jim Thome. You know, that's just what it was.
Yeah.
You know, you can name just
Manny was
about.
better,
No,
you're
he's
wrong.
not. Nope. No, it's
Yeah,
fine.
Yep.
Anywho, moving on from that topic, but I think that's what he relates it to, because when we were kids, man, we could name every single player on the Cleveland Indians without a shadow of doubt. We could tell you the player's name, what position he played, whether it was the relief pitcher or the first baseman. It did not matter. We could name those pitchers, and it just, in my opinion, does not have that same mojo of what it had back in the day. I mean, you remember the banners that said, "Hit it here and we'll paint your house" by Sherman Williams? Those were dope, man.
Yeah, I mean,
like
that was a team
that
that
was
you know, six guys could hit long balls on you.
Yeah,
you know,
but
they had
now
six
everyone
stud
can hit a long
hitters.
ball on you. Everyone can hit a long ball now. I mean, there was a record number of home runs this year. Oh, the record for home runs this year was set in like July. I mean, there was still two months left in the season, and they had already shattered the previous record for home runs. I mean, baseball is becoming a more home run and offensively centric sport now. And I think that is going to parlay itself into a more national relevance outside of its
that's a big part too.
Current one. And yeah, Joel, you bring up a great point. There were no Cleveland Browns when Manny and Tommy and Kenny
nothing to contend with, and we were selling out.
I mean, yeah, that's just what it is, though. I mean, more offense you get, the phrase I think is "chicks dig the long ball." So I mean, the more long balls that get hit, I think the more you're gonna see baseball just blow up, man.
So I would like to just comment real quick. Joel DeMar mentioned that Manny is a legend and he's better than Jim Thome. I would also like to let
Joe's
people know
You're a good man,
that Jim Thome didn't use PEDs in any way, shape, or form. That's all I have to say.
No, Jim Thome.
First of all, Jim Thome just didn't get caught.
Nope. No, there's no proof of anything. Let's go that route. Okay.
Hey, there was no proof on Piazza either, and everybody said he was.
Yeah,
poor old Mike Piazza. You want to talk about somebody who got a raw deal?
Roger Clemens literally sat there and said, or no, it was Rafael Palmeiro. I did not take steroids. So I mean, like, if we're just going to take people at their word, then shoot.
Yeah, Marcus, you're right, man. If they would just throw up lobs all day long, it would be on top. Yes, it would. If you were just chucking up slow pitch softballs to them boys, it don't matter curveball or not, man. They would be rocking that ball, and it would be. It would be. I mean, there'd be games probably higher than some NFL games, you know, in points.
And I just want to point out that Marcus is over here saying how boring baseball is when his kid is pretty damn good at baseball. I mean, so. Does it pain you, Marcus, to sit there and watch him play baseball?
You know what? Watching your kid play baseball versus watching the pros, you can't really compare it, to be honest with you, because
see, I'm never going to have that privilege.
You can have another child.
I could.
I've got a good friend. He may or may not be watching on here. It's a guy by the name of Mark Roth. He lives in the Youngstown area. That is baseball coach. His kid is a stud catcher. So he is that baseball guy, you know, year round. So I would actually love to hear. I don't think he's watching because he would have commented by now. Like you were saying, what it's like to have a kid where you have to watch baseball all the time. I think baseball is one of those sports. It's actually similar to golf. There are people who will sit and watch golf events that don't even matter. I have a hard time even sitting through the Masters.
Every golf event matters. Every golf event matters.
I have to comment on Joel DeMar's. It's up on the screen. I never did say he was the greatest player ever in the game. I just said he was better than Manny Ramirez. That's all I have to say.
But Manny at one point was the best player in the game.
Nah, never. Nope.
Yes.
Not a shot. Nope.
He was definitely the best player in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. So, and then Marcus.
He was the best player on the Red Sox.
And I said what I said, and then Marcus comes in and says, that doesn't mean it's not boring. I don't know if Marcus, I don't know if you coach or not, but if you've done T-ball with these kids, there's nothing boring about it because you never know what in the hell is going to happen in the next second. The guy over at third base is digging a hole, and the guy in the outfield is running around in circles, and you're hoping that they're not hugging each other out there. So it's not boring, it's irritating. Anyways.
Well, they shouldn't be hugging with all this social distancing. I'll just throw that out there.
That was
Okay,
last summer,
attention.
by the way. Last summer, by the way.
All right. Let's
Take a
move on.
break. Yeah.
So-
move on, but let's do
but
the
before we go to break, let me go ahead and do my I'm gonna announce the winner
ooh.
for so tonight I'm gonna
Giveaway.
share my screen so we can do this live.
Yep.
Um
What was it?
Tonight we had a challenge out there that if you shared the interview I did with Terry Henton, Sit Downs with Sammy, it's on the page right now. You are going to be in a drawing to win some free merchandise, whether it's a mug or a
Autograph
a water
picture of
bottle.
Sammy.
I'm laughing at these comment section because this is outstanding. So I am going to share my screen at this point.
Yes.
These are the guys.
All right, hold on.
Let
Let me
me
bring
know
it
when you
up.
can see that
Let me
on the
bring it up.
screen.
Hold on. It should be coming. There it is. So looks like you got about 8 people. So somewhere in there, 4. Yeah, it looks like 8.
So let me just do
So the winner of this is receiving a signed autograph poster of Sammy to hang on their wall. Is that correct?
No, the winner of this is going to win either a mug or a water bottle of their choice. I'm just double checking to make sure I don't have any names to add in here. Before I do this, it has to be fair. Come on. So we have 13 shares still. So no, that's it. These are the people. So we're gonna do this spin app so you know that this is real. You see all your names if you have shared it. Good luck. Here we go.
Sorry.
Of course.
Oh,
I
what
mean,
did you
isn't that
do?
awesome?
And
Click
the Chrome,
continue
Sammy.
to
It's
add.
probably just as legit as Kazaa.
There we go.
There, it's spinning. We got this all on lockdown. So winner, chicken dinner goes
Bill
to.
Tempesta.
Whoa! Congratulations, Bill.
Billy, you are the
You get a
winner.
signed
So-
autograph of Sammy in a pair of Speedos. I'm pumped.
So you
It's gonna
in
be great.
real time are actually going to get your choice of a you're going to get your choice of a mug or a water bottle. So we'll continue to do these periodically through the show. We're going to go to break though.
Yep, I want the poster too, Scone. I do.
All
All right, so let's take a break. Let me. Sammy's got a. During our breaks, we like to shout out local businesses just because it's Ashtabula County. Let me throw this one up here for Sammy. He's going to shout them out. It's actually one of my favorite pubs in the bar eatery in the area as well. But go ahead, Sam. Shout them out, man.
All right, so I'm going to shout out my favorite place to eat in the county is Dublin Down Pub and Eatery. Dave Clint is just an amazing person, runs a great business, takes care of me and my wife every time we go through. As an adult, I never thought I would have my own Cheers, but that's what I liken it to. I go in there, everybody says hello. It's a small setting. The food is phenomenal. If you have not gotten a Reuben from Dublin Down yet, you are missing out. It's fantastic. It's a great place for adults to go grab yourself a drink and kind of decompress. I do a lot of our meetings there. I meet with a lot of people. The first place I take people when they come to Ashtabula is Dublin Down because Dave is a class act and it's a wonderful place to be. So one of very few places that I frequent it with my wife. I would recommend this to everybody. Go check it out. Dave, Temple, there's just a great crew of people in there. They're always going to meet you with a smile, always going to treat you like you are their favorite customer because everybody is their favorite customer. It's right there on Main Avenue, back where the old Cork and Kettle is. Main Avenue is another place that is kind of up and coming and support local during this time. And this is a way to support local. I talked about Wade's Possibilities too. That's another local place, but Dublin Down, great place to support local man doing a great job running a class act that place to go eat and grab a brew. And that's my spiel. Dave and Temple, I'll see you guys this weekend on the pickup. Looks like I'm stuck here. Still.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you gonna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, Super Bowls, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Screen here. Let's see. All right. Welcome back, everybody.
Right.
I think you can hear me. Let's make sure everyone can be heard. Sammy, mic check.
Can you hear me?
Hey, honestly,
Yeah, we got the.
Hello?
honestly,
Yeah. You're good
hey,
Can you
let
hear
me
me?
throw something out here real quick. Yeah, we can hear you.
for the fourth time.
Marcus just threw up. Tom, give up the Jays. I know you got them. So hey, maybe we have some crazy anniversary show or something. I got some Jordans I've been wanting to get rid of. So maybe we'll have a giveaway on those one day. I got them like not even worn, man. The only shoes I probably will never give up are my Yeezys. But I got some retro 8s, some 9s, 3s, 4s, 5s. I got the Travis Scott 1s. So maybe I'll get rid of those ugly things.
I don't know what those are, but they sound cool. Really
Travis
pumped
Scott
about that.
ones?
Yeah.
Not a
Isn't he
sneakerhead at all.
He's a rapper, isn't he?
I know there's a
Isn't
huge population of them, though.
He's a rapper, correct?
Yeah, he got the good-looking Kardashian.
Oh, that's
But
debatable. He didn't get Kendall Jenner. He didn't get Kendall Jenner.
there's something on Facebook with him, like doing it, or not Facebook, Fortnite, having his like own
Yeah,
live.
he did sicko mode.
So whatever, I don't know. It was wild. My son was watching.
That
I
was
didn't
sicko mode,
understand
man.
what was going on, but so thanks for the compliment, John. Which is, hopefully you would compliment
Jake
us.
Dollars.
No, you probably usually wouldn't. So yeah, shout out to Jake. Is it Jake Dollars, right?
Yeah, boy. Apple
Yeah,
Music.
so Jake
look him up.
Dollars, let us know what you guys think about that rap. I thought it was pretty sick. He just came up with that in about a day and a half. So, but let's move right into the second half of our show. That first half was pretty sick. Loved it.
Absolutely, I am.
Yes, he is. I've
Emilio,
recommended to him to
100%.
go spend
We're
$30 on anything.
We're still
No, I
just
got a
getting
legit
started.
headset. I went and bought something nice. Well, decent, I should go with. All right, so we just got through with 3-division baseball. I do believe that's about the third time you've been called out too, Sammy, if I recall right. I know
I'm gonna have to go get one because everybody's very concerned with my headwear.
All right, so the next topic is going to be the 2021 Olympics. I'm just going to put it up here real quick as 2021 because I accidentally deleted it. That's what you have on here, Sammy. We're not going there?
That
Am I
was my
ignoring it?
son's hand, Denny. That was my son's hand. Sammy
You don't
doesn't
want to
have
go?
tiny hands.
Well, either way.
we can cover it. Yeah, let's go.
I was say for a second. So 2021 Olympics are they're not recommended, or what are they? Who? I think that was Tom. Was that you were the one that was talking about that? I think they are not canceling the Olympics, but it is at risk of cancellation because of
no vaccine.
Right, no vaccine.
Basically, what they said was they're not going to push it out again. If it's still not available by that time, they're going to cancel it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't force it.
So interesting topic. That is something we're going to have to keep an eye on. But we'll see where it goes to. The next one we got here is Amazon exclusive on Thursday Night Football. So what do you guys think about that? And go.
Amazon has become a player in our life, even bigger than like a Walmart and everything. They're kind of getting their hands dipped in everything. They're going to be the Disney, this generation's Disney. So yeah, it makes sense that they're going to grab Thursday Night Football. I think more people are going to a streaming service as opposed to a cable anyway. So that's cool for them. You know, I feel bad for, you know, who that's going to get. It's going to get the elderly people who are still watching stuff with HD antennas and stuff. Unless it's a Browns Thursday night game, they're not going to get football.
Yeah. So with Amazon getting the rights, they essentially have the right to stream all Thursday night football through 2022. And are still going to have an exclusive game outside of that, but the local market is still going to be able to see the game. So like Sammy said, I mean, like if that game happens to fall under the blanket of like Browns Titans, let's say that week, you know, we'd still be able to get it in our local market.
My heart.
So the one interesting thing would be the league potentially being impacted by the coronavirus. So Amazon, we talk about how Amazon is this generation's Disney, but a lot of people don't appreciate what Amazon's doing for their streaming service. Like Amazon has already committed $1 billion+ to a Lord of the Rings series that hasn't even hit pre-production. Okay, but they've already committed that $1 billion. They also have this show called The Boys with Carl something. He was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was Judge Dredd too. Carl Urban, sorry. So that's another high-profile show. So the presentation and production for that kind of thing could just be unparalleled to anything you've ever seen. You could have overlays with stats, historical figures that you could control with your remote or Alexa. I mean, how cool would that be to have kind of like an interactive game almost, you know? An impact on gambling too. I mean, with no fans in the stands, and if Amazon's putting this on, I mean, you could really not have a true home field advantage because there's no ref bias there. It could create a more competitive atmosphere, and Amazon could be at the forefront of creating an entirely new product for the NFL. And that's just so cool that you could think about that right now, because football on Fox, CBS, NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, they all have their own unique product, but Amazon as a whole is so committed to expanding that streaming service to compete with Netflix and Hulu that you could totally see something new, something interactive, and something totally unparalleled in sports right now. It's a really exciting time for Amazon.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome
two things on that. My good friend AJ has always talked about the fact that, and I tend to agree with him, the NFL really oversteps their welcome sometimes. At a time, Thursday night games were supposed to be for MAC games. Friday nights were supposed to be for high school football. Saturdays were for college, and Sundays were football. Mondays were football. Were NFL. We're at the point now where the NFL is going to get oversaturated. And you know, when you get oversaturated, people lose interest. And it's really not fair to the small football conferences that were getting covered on Thursday because you booted them out. I understand that people listen, if you get too much of what you ask for, you're not going to want it anymore. And then the other thing I wanted to say real quick is I saw Sconey said that him and Roger McCoy have a podcast again called Sconey and Skinny Ride Again. And that's probably worth checking out because those two were hilarious when they were on the radio. So go check them out.
Yeah, I did have that up there earlier. I don't see it now. But
To answer John's question real quick that he threw up there, Marvel and first of all, it's not Marvel, it's Valiant Comics that the boys are affiliated with. First of all, second of all, the reason that it's related is because Amazon is already committing all this money to things that are already in pre-production that aren't huge properties compared to like the NFL. So imagine what they could do with a thing like a product that has actual licensing and sponsorships outside of a comic book company or just
they could go mega.
They could go way bigger. They could be like, honestly, the way I think about it is that Amazon could become the Rock Nation of sports. I mean, just like how Jay-Z has totally expanded his brand. I mean, that's insane.
But so I'm going to jump back to Marcus Pearson, and I'm going to kind of side with him a little bit because Sammy did just say that if you get too much of something, you won't want it. I don't think that with the NFL. I mean, the simple fact is every team has typically one game a week. Sometimes they have a short week that you could see as two games a week, but it's just one game per week every Sunday, either at 1, 4, or 8, or Monday Night Football or Thursday. I know on Sundays if the Browns aren't playing, I still leave it on, whether it's CBS, ABC, whatever, wherever it's telecasted at. I leave it on and watch that game.
Are you still going to do that when one game a week becomes one game on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, then later in the season, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday. So now you're going to watch NFL football 4 days a week?
If the Browns are playing on a Saturday, wait. If the Browns are playing on a Saturday, are you watching it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I'm watching one game that week.
If I don't know, well, let's see. If Marcus's but if Marcus's favorite team is, I will say the Titans. I don't know what his team is, but if his favorite team is the Titans and they're playing on Thursday, is he watching it?
Yeah,
you're still going to draw in the viewers,
definitely.
No matter which way you look at it.
Yes,
no matter which way you look at it.
They're going to draw on the viewers, but I can promise you, and you can stamp this, and you can put this in Sammy's golden take file. If you overexpose football, people will lose interest.
The
reason why people don't watch mid-season basketball is because it's on every single day. We just talked about baseball being on every single day. You are oversaturated with it.
No, so
it's the special thing about
Marcus brings a great point.
And sweet, 1 day a week.
If you have if you got Nick Chubb as your running back and he's playing on Sunday, are you watching it because of fantasy football?
I'm going to watch it on Sunday the same way I watch every other team, like this, and I'm going to watch his stats, and then I'm gonna go back like I've always done for my entire life. And if there's a game I missed, I'm going to go to ESPN and I'm going to look for some highlights. So, like I'm saying, the overexposure to football will ultimately be the cause of its undoing. I love football, but if you get too much of it, it becomes baseball.
I mean, if we were playing 3 days a week, I'd agree with you. I can't agree with you in any way, shape, or form. We play 1 day a week.
It's not just your team, though, is what I'm saying. Like,
I know what you're saying.
On Monday, Tuesday?
Do I put on the Monday
Are you watching it every day?
I sure do. Do I put on the Thursday night game? I sure put on the Thursday night game.
Monday
I put on. It's on. Ask my wife.
Do you watch basketball every time it's on, Sammy?
No.
I know you're a basketball fan.
I thought you were going to ask me that.
Basketball all the time?
No.
For that reason.
No.
For that reason, no.
Okay.
Because I get tired. I get tired of watching the same stuff every day. That was my favorite thing about football is honestly you could dedicate 3 days a week to it.
Right. I mean, that's it. I mean,
You're not
it's
even
2, now it's 3.
Account.
And the only time you get Saturdays, is during the playoffs. That's it.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. You're not even taking into account college, which is a major football production. So you're watching football every hour of every day. I love sports, but man, I need something else to watch.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Nope.
No,
you're a liar.
I do.
If the Browns played 12 months out of the year and they played every Sunday, would you watch every game?
Hey, speaking about watching every game.
Every Sunday, 1 day a week? Yes.
Speaking about watching every game, can we talk about someone that we probably won't be watching every game now? Andy Dalton.
We could probably
and so Cincinnati releases Andy Dalton. Cincinnati releases Andy Dalton after a long storied career of mediocrity.
9 years. 9 years of it.
So the Red Rocket that that everybody loves. Now, that unfortunately we could be that might be Baker's ceiling, but Dalton was a guy that, not an injury prone guy, went out there and did the job, but never
was the
could get
low
them
blow?
over the hump.
All right. So
Anyway,
So really,
Andy Dalton
yeah.
Andy Dalton has had some of the best weapons in the division and still couldn't get it done.
So here's my thing. Andy Dalton is the most disrespected
Right there,
quarterback
Sam. Right
I
there.
think I've ever seen.
He should.
Andy Dalton during the All-Star game for baseball went out there and played in the celebrity game in Cincinnati, and he just got booed. And then what did he do? He led his team to an 8-0 record that year. And he played in spite of those fans. And I don't think I've ever seen someone be as disrespected as Andy Dalton that gave his all to a city. Andy Dalton didn't care. But Andy Dalton led his team to an 8-0 record that year. Oh my gosh.
How many AFC titles do they have?
They have none.
How many AFC titles do they have? How many Super Bowls did they get? Obviously none, because no AFC titles. How many times did they get bounced as soon as they got in the playoffs? Like, here's the problem. You can be a guy, and this is the primary problem in Cleveland. And this is what scares me, is I think people are going to sign up for a mediocre Baker Mayfield for the same reason. I don't care what you do during the season. If you can't win in the playoffs, beat it. Go somewhere.
Okay.
I don't care where, just not.
Sammy, you said he deserves he deserves those boos and stuff because he never won anything. So how can you quantify that Deshaun Watson deserves all the praise? Deshaun Watson hasn't won anything. Neither has
because first of all, Deshaun Watson is at the beginning, and he is going to lead them to victories. I don't know if he's ever going to get them to the Super Bowl, but he is going to lead them to victories. Dalton is the perfect example of a game manager. He is a game manager who had a bunch of horses in the stable and had no idea how to push them over the top. Now, granted, Marvin Lewis
back then. Why did Phillip Rivers get
maybe he was the problem.
Marvin Lewis was the problem.
Phillip Rivers is another one. Phillip Rivers is another one who people are completely overrated. This is the same mentality that holds Bernie Kosar at this godlike level in Cleveland, when Bernie Kosar at very best was a middle of the road quarterback. Never
Joe Flacco.
Ever.
Joe Flacco. Right.
Joe Flacco won something though.
And we act like he's a god here.
Bernie's the closest thing in football we have had to
I'm telling you.
Right. He's the only leadership role that we've had that almost got us to the promised land. Only thing. In football. What? What am I saying?
You realize what you're saying?
No, tell me.
You guys are saying oh, listen, we owe him everything because we almost won. I don't care if we almost
I am
won.
not saying
we have
that. I am not saying
champion.
that.
We have one champion.
But that's the same thing as saying, hey, how many championships did Manny Ramirez help the Indians win? How many championships?
How many did you make Boston win? Though?
How many? No, we're not talking about Boston. We're talking about Cleveland, right? But how many championships did anybody on the Indians help them win? None. But there is still high praise for Manny Ramirez.
How many times was Manny Ramirez a top? How many times was he a top player at his position in the league?
He was the best.
How many times was Bernie Kosar a top player at his position?
Probably.
How many times was Bernie Kosar a top player?
Probably
at his position. Never.
Kosar's
he was Bernie Kosar might have been top 5 for 3 years. Maybe he was top 5.
What I mean, okay.
And we act like this guy's a god. And this guy who I've got his name on my cap is going to get the same treatment, and that's what worries me.
He had a passer rating.
That's what worries me. Is Cleveland will settle for mediocrity as long as they say, as long as they service the fans with their talk. Cleveland will deal with mediocrity, and I'm not doing it.
Okay, but did you buy into the Cavs when they went to the finals with the Spurs? Did you buy into the Cavs when they lost those times to the Warriors? Did you buy into the Cavs when they lost to the Celtics? I mean, like, of course you did. But that was still mediocre because we didn't get there. Okay? But it's because we had LeBron.
Did we have a player that was unequivocally the best at his position at the time in LeBron? Yes. And what I'm saying is, and this is how Bernie gets brought up because Dalton is the same. It's the same thing. People fall in love with these people that really don't deserve that. You are okay. You're a middle of the road guy.
Why was it okay? So why was it okay to love LeBron when he failed so many times?
Because he was never middle of the road. Because he was the best.
But the teams were middle of the road.
That's why it's okay. That's why it's okay to love Dan Marino, even though he never won one, because there are times in his career where he's the best quarterback, or at least one of them. But Cleveland doesn't understand that. Cleveland takes a guy that as long as you go out there and don't throw 500 interceptions, we act like you're this god amongst men. We have to get rid of that. Cincinnati is learning from that. Cincinnati wasted talent because they were living with a guy and having a quarterback that was a game manager that was never going to get them over the top. And you know what? The best NFL teams figure that out and boot them. That's what they do. We have to be there. I hope Cincinnati does it. I wish they wouldn't have.
All right.
I would have loved Andy Dalton still there.
I'm totally going to agree with Joel,
Guaranteed.
but Joel, I want you to know that he truly believes himself. So Joel said, Sammy's like to call on a coward of this operation. He takes the opposite side, and he does, but he believes himself. He doesn't do it on purpose. He does it because it's what that brain of his is saying. So, all right. Anyways, where does Andy Dalton go to? No, here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Me? Where does he go to? I think there's two places he can go to. And he can go to these two places and actually prove me wrong. All right? So, the one place he can go obviously is the Patriots. I don't think they want anything to do with them because they like good quarterbacks there. The other place he could go, I don't know, he can take like a secondary role somewhere in like Carolina. Somewhere to teach a quarterback, in the words of my friend Tom, mentor a quarterback, because that's where he's at. He can show a quarterback that it doesn't matter when you throw a bunch of interceptions. You still have a job next year.
Oh, God. So you really think basically Andy Dalton is garbage?
And I can't.
I think no.
Because the way you're putting this,
he's not garbage.
Well, then what is he? Is he a dumpster fire? Even worse?
He's average.
I think he's a good quarterback on an average team.
You remember
an average ownership
to start a season. A good quarterback.
Do you remember?
Average one doesn't.
Do you know? Do you remember the word we kept using a couple seasons ago for Tyrod Taylor?
Bridge.
Dalton is the first career bridge quarterback. He is a quarterback that is going to hold the place until you actually get a good quarterback. That's where Dalton is. And he has been that way since he came from that niche offense at TCU that his numbers were pumped through the roof.
And one thing kind of to go back and tie back a little.
You, Sammy.
Sammy, a game manager.
I hate you.
Tom. A game manager doesn't lead the AFC and NFL in passer rating in 1987. That's not a game manager. That's an efficient quarterback that took some risks. I think he passed for 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns that year too. And, that's in those times, those weren't bad numbers. That's not a game manager. That was a dude who could sling the ball. I mean, I just full-heartedly disagree with Bernie Kosar being a game manager because Bernie Kosar played balls out every night. Game managers don't play balls out. Game managers play like Trent Dilfer.
Bernie Kosar was an average quarterback that gets love in Cleveland because he was the recipient of a good team. That's it. Played on a good team.
Okay.
Played on a good team.
Okay.
He played on a good team with
a great coach. John? It was a good coach.
All right. gosh, we can go out of that all night. But anywho, let's move on because we got a good punt. We got a
Bernie fan. I know people love him.
yeah. Anyways, yeah. Well, I've never been a fan of you, and I don't talk about you that way, but it is what it is. So, moving on, we have the punt or grunt segment. All right. So, as you guys know, if you punt, you don't like the idea. If you grunt, you're running with it. So, this is a segment Sammy came up with, and we've been grunting with it the whole time. So, first punter grunt is going to be, and now this is, I'm going to let Tom take the floor because this is his thought. This is just, there's no report behind this, but it is a great thought with the linebacking situation in Cleveland. But does Olivier Vernon transition to linebacker?
All right, yeah. I'm going to give a big grunt on it. Olivier Vernon transitioning to linebacker, I think, could be a big win for the Cleveland Browns. We are very weak. We are very thin at linebacker, especially the outside linebacker position. I know Olivier Vernon came in as a defensive end, and he was drafted as a defensive end to the Miami Dolphins. But Olivier Vernon in the 2018-2019 season was the starting outside linebacker for the New York Giants, and he played with BJ Goodson, who is now his teammate in Cleveland. Goodson was the starting middle linebacker. Vernon was a Pro Bowl replacement that year at outside linebacker to Khalil Mack. So they replaced Khalil Mack, a player of his caliber, with Olivier Vernon. And that year, Olivier Vernon had 30 combined tackles and 7 sacks. He had 7 sacks. That doesn't happen on accident. Yeah, he was a 3-4 outside linebacker for that team. However, 4-3 linebackers are easy to come by, but the outstanding ones are not. The pure run stuffing middle linebacker who can clean up gaps and make the tackle is kind of, in my opinion, a vanishing breed. Because the players with the size, strength, and speed to play that position, that middle linebacker position in college, are immediately transitioned to outside linebacker in the pros. Or they're made a defensive end and they're made to blitz. The 4-3 outside linebackers have a hard time making an impact now, too, because strong siders are, kind of spending more of their time, the reps shadowing the tight end, and the weak siders are increasingly either left on the bench or kind of substituted in favor of a slot corner. And the one reason that I'm kind of enamored with this thought is that Vernon has proven that he can play that 4-3 outside linebacker role. We played the Giants when Olivier Vernon was at that linebacker position, and I'll never forget it. It was 3rd and 30 or 3rd and 25. Cleveland had the ball. And Njoku runs down the field. And Vernon kept up with him for 30 yards, swatted that pass away from Njoku. Size and speed aren't a question for Vernon, but can he sustain the play that he did with Njoku? Was that just a one-off play? I'm not sure, but I think it behooves the Cleveland Brass and Joe Woods to take a look at Olivier Vernon, because he's proven that even if it was just that one play, he is competent enough and understands coverage enough with tight ends and such to maybe look at defenses and be able to maybe cover. Or he was never going to be the guy that supplemented Myles Garrett. So what we need to do now is we need to look at a position. If we're going to pay him $15 million this year, we need to find a way that he can get on the field, and maybe that frees up a spot for a guy like Marcus Golden or Jadeveon Clowney.
Sam.
All right. First of all, I'm punting on Olivier Vernon as a linebacker. I'm punting as Olivier Vernon as a Cleveland Brown. Olivier Vernon he's been overrated. It was a terrible pickup for us. The problem with him moving to linebacker, and this is going to completely contradict what you just said, Thomas, he's slow as a defensive end. He's really not going to be able to keep up out there. He's going to be he is a little bit small, so maybe he can increase his speed, but I doubt it. Olivier Vernon, like I said, as a player, I'm punting him. He's the problem is when you change from position to position, okay, when you are coming into the league as this position, or this is what you have decided to be, and then you are going to switch to a position, no matter how similar it is, there is going to be a little bit of drop off in play. Because if you were that good, if he was a good linebacker, we wouldn't have had him as a defensive end. So our linebacking core is in dire straits, and that's true. But moving him from defensive end, then he's really like a second string linebacker on a bad team. So really across the NFL, he's a practice squad level linebacker. So I'm punting on him because I'm punting on Olivier Vernon. I think in other cases like Mario Williams, it did work. Mario Williams was a freak athlete. Olivier Vernon is far from that. So sure. I'm punting on it because I'm punting on Vernon.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm punting on it too. I know it was just a suggestion Tom had, but I think it's a punting suggestion. We don't have the depth behind him. I know defensive ends can kind of rotate a little bit, but there's not that much depth on that side of the ball. And he didn't produce the greatest numbers, but we still need somebody that can do it there, that has the potential to do it. If we pick up Jadeveon Clowney, like Joel was suggesting, and I think all of us are hoping for, which I don't know why we're exactly hoping for it, to be honest with you. It wasn't like he was a sack monster, but he did have a lot of quarterback pressure. So, but I'm going to punt on it.
Because Jadeveon Clowney and Garrett is the best defensive line in the league.
I don't think Clowney's that. I mean, I don't think he's that great, but that's just my opinion. Just like Sammy thinks Manny Ramirez is better than Jim Thome. All right, moving on. All right. Next punter grunt. Is the NFL chasing the Chiefs? So meaning are the Chiefs kind of like the number one, like what everyone's trying to be to get to? Let Sammy take the floor.
Punt. The Chiefs have the best quarterback in the NFL. That's absolutely true. There's no denying that. Mahomes is the guy. But the Ravens have the second best quarterback in the league right now, as well as a stout defense. They've increased their line. They've got the best running back in the draft this year. I'm telling you, it's trouble for this division. Everybody in the league is going to be trying to play catch up to the Baltimore Ravens this year. The Chiefs are going to be obviously probably the second or third best team. It does not fare well for the Browns because the Baltimore Ravens are an absolute buzzsaw this year. Not to mention, I forgot, their linebacking core has gotten way better too. So they really killed the draft. They already had a great team, 14-2. You can look for the Baltimore Ravens to be a real Super Bowl contender this year, better than the Chiefs.
Okay. I kind of agree what Mayock, because Mike Mayock was the guy that came out and said that the NFL is chasing the Chiefs. I agree with what Mayock says. If you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, what do they have? They have a very high octane, high profile offense with a team that has an average to middle of the road defense. And if you look at the highest profile signings this offseason for NFL teams, it was mainly on the offensive side of the ball. Let's just go Cleveland. Austin Hooper, Jack Conklin, Case Keenum to Cleveland. They left the linebacker spot bare in free agency. Then you go to like someone like the Carolina Panthers. They signed Robbie Anderson, Teddy Bridgewater, while they had James Bradbury, Mario Addison, and Luke Kuechly leave the team. So they're not really addressing defenses. So a lot of teams are now loading up on offense, which is what the Chiefs have done. The NFL always has a period, in my opinion, it's cyclical. The NFL goes with who the team is that has a proven formula, because Sammy, you did say what the Ravens are doing. The Ravens have this team, but what did the Ravens do? They lost in the playoffs. What did the Chiefs do? They won the Super Bowl. Okay, so I'm going to chase the team that won the Super Bowl rather than the team that just came up just short. So what you're looking at is going back to like the cyclical thing. So teams are chasing the Chiefs, just like teams chased the Ravens back in the early 2000s. Teams started to load up on defense. Okay, and like maybe look at a great running back. Then a guy named Michael Vick comes to the Falcons and starts to ball out. And hey, how do we contain a running quarterback? How do we contain a guy with running back speed that has a good arm? So teams started to look for mobile quarterbacks in the draft, or they started drawing up plays for a quarterback that was semi-mobile. You know what I mean? And then you look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They have this dynamic offense with plug and play guys, and the defense can just kind of catch up. And that's why I think you're not seeing a lot of teams putting a lot of stock into defense, because more teams are concerned with, maybe if I can score 45 a night, the other guys won't be able to. So that's just good enough for me, because that's what the Chiefs did. The Chiefs put up these high amount of points, and I think that you entrench your quarterback in there, and then you put in these plug and play guys. And I think that's kind of the formula that the NFL is going after. Like, hey, maybe I don't need to sign Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt. Maybe I need to start going after plug and play guys, like kind of the Carolina Panthers did by signing a guy like Robbie Anderson, a guy that they can just plug in and he can go. So I think that Mayock is totally on base with what he's saying. Like, you're chasing the Chiefs right now because the Chiefs are the winners. The Ravens are the second best.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to chase the second best guy. I don't want to sell as many cars as the guy that sold 14 cars. I want to sell more cars than the guy that sold 22. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got two teams that had very glaring weaknesses last year. One team not only addressed the weakness, but sturdied the ship that they had going. And one team is ignoring it because they've got Patrick Mahomes. And that's the problem. I think Patrick Mahomes is fantastic, but he's going to come back down to earth this year.
Do you think that if Lamar Jackson gets rocked when he's running outside, let's say Myles Garrett comes and just rocks that cat's world, do you think that the Ravens will be able to, as the team is constructed, because it's a Lamar-centric team, Robert Griffin, I don't even know if I'm just going to throw names out there because I don't know who the backups are, but like Robert Griffin, Matt Castle, like someone like I don't even know, like Kyle Allen comes in. Do you think they'll have as much success? Because I don't. But I think if Patty Mahomes gets hurt, a guy like Chad Henne could do not Mahomes numbers, but would do just fine with that offense, because there's those plug and play guys that it's not a Patty Mahomes team. It's a high octane offense team. And I think that's what Mayock's talking about.
I disagree. I disagree with you completely. I think the Ravens have a team that will be the Ravens recover from an injury much better than the Chiefs. That's not just, it's a high octane offense because it's a Mahomes centric offense. Without Mahomes' ability to make the plays, without Mahomes' ability to make those plays, that offense is garbage.
Andy Dalton goes there. AJ just said Andy Dalton goes there. They're still fine. They're not 14-2 fine, but they're 10-6 fine.
So
Ravens lose Lamar Jackson.
Andy Dalton already proved that he can't do it with receivers.
Andy Dalton never had Tyreek Hill. Andy Dalton never had Travis Kelce. Andy Dalton never had DeMarcus Robinson.
No, Andy Dalton had TJ Houshmandzadeh and Chad Johnson,
Green.
dude.
Two.
And AJ Green.
Yeah. So my take real quick.
Or not, I'm sorry. Not Johnson and Houshmandzadeh. I meant Green and Brown. Or what the hell is the guy from West Virginia, the speedster?
White?
Boyd.
John Ross?
Boyd? Oh.
Boyd, okay.
Yeah, Ross is the speedster.
So I got a huge grunt for this, and there's only one reason why. The Chiefs are returning 20 of their 22 starters from last year. Any team that can run and return that many starters has probably the greatest chance of success, one. But two, the continuity that team is going to have. So it's a big grunt for me. I'm sorry. Big grunt for me. I think the Chiefs are the team to beat. I think Baltimore is chasing. I think Baltimore's chasing not a replica. I mean, they have their own thing going by all means. But I think they want to get to something of that nature. So let's see. Ravens are guaranteed to take a step back here. The Patriots win. Okay. A little too much on there. Thanks, Nick. So next topic on Punter Grunt. G League over NCAA. So basketball players coming out of high school are starting to prefer going to the G League. And my personal opinion, and I think everyone knows, it's because of the cash that they receive finally. But that punter grunt, we'll start off with Tom this time.
All right. I'm gonna punt it. And here's the reason. It's gonna be kind of a long-winded thing, but okay. High school scars go to the G League instead of college. That's cool. I get it. Like, you want to make your money, you want to support your family. So Jalen Green, who would have been the number 1 pick this year and the number 1 pick next year, chose the G League. And Dyshawn Nix, another kid who is just transcendent, probably would be a top 5 pick this year and next year. But the thing is, look at a guy that a lot of people are talking about in Obi Toppin. Okay, Obi Toppin from Dayton, Dayton made a crazy run this year, man. And if Obi Toppin hadn't have had the college experience, if he hadn't have had that development that he went through over like 2 different colleges, different coaches and teammates that were buying into a system, we wouldn't even be talking about Obi Toppin as a top pick right now. Now there's guys like if we could go back to 2008, like OJ Mayo and Bill Walker from Huntington Prep in West Virginia, those kids could have definitely made the G League hop and then gone on, because those kids were good enough talent. But if you're talking about high school kids wanting to go to the G League over college, I think at some point you have to reconcile within yourself. Do I want the money now? Do I want 300 grand right now? Or do I want to go to a place where, because my legs aren't going to last forever, my body isn't going to last forever. If I go to the G League and I tear my AC, like, and I don't even want to put this out there, but I'm going to, and God, if it happens, I'm so sorry, man. If Jalen Green goes to the G League and tears his ACL next year, he ain't getting picked number 1. He ain't getting picked number 2. Okay. We saw that happen with Michael Porter Jr., the transcendent player in college that got picked in the 20s by the Nuggets. Okay. He lost a lot of money. So would you rather get your money now, or would you rather go to college and have that college on your resume where you could fall back on that and you already enrolled, so you can fall back on an education if something doesn't work out? Sometimes as humans, we're so short-sighted and we just want that instant gratification. And I get it. If you're that transcendent of an athlete, I never was, but I mean, obviously look at me. I mean, if you want that money right now, if you can get it, man, be about your bread, be about your chicken, go get it. Marshawn Lynch. But God, man, at least look at college, all the opportunities that'll open for you. I mean, if I didn't go to college, if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't have half the opportunities I have right now. And those kids will never know debt if they go to college. It's not a matter of debt or money. I mean, Zion Williamson goes to college. That kid's pure profit right now, man. He doesn't have to worry about, like I have to worry about 110 grand of student loan debt. I stay awake at night in cold sweats about that, man. Zion Williamson's just worried about what next house or what next Maserati he's going to grab, man. I mean, here's the thing. John, tell a broke kid from nothing he can get paid to play now or make an institution millions for his performance. I get that, man. But the thing is when you go to college, you still have that to fall back on. Greg Oden got destroyed in the NBA, but what happened? He now has a college degree because he was enrolled at Ohio State. And that degree is making him money now, whereas that money from the NBA is going to run out, and you can't get your ACL back after it's been reconstructed 4 times. But you know what you can get back? You can get an education, and you can get life skills and experience to go out there, because guess what? Even if Jalen Green kills the G League, something happens to that kid, man, he's one bad day away from being broke on the street, just like me, Sammy, and Ryan, working at a car dealership or as a nurse and making ends meet, maybe a little bit over.
So that is I'm saying a punt from you, correct?
I would never recommend.
The only thing I want to say real quick, The only thing I want to say, before we go through this, because I'm going to go through my punter grunt on this too, real quick, before we go to our next topic. I'm going to say this: you 100% have to, if you are a special athlete in college, you have to take the money that the G League is offering, because college is always going to be there. And if you get the money that the G League is playing and you blow out your ACL, you can still afford to pay yourself through college. It's not the other way around. I'm not going to go out there and risk my livelihood for a team that, as soon as I blow out my knee, is going to take away my scholarship and say, sorry for your loss. So that's where I'm at. 100% punt. I'm grunting on G League over NCAA, because until the NCAA starts making these kids real money, which we'll cover probably in a different show, the fact that NCAA is going to open up and allow them to. I'm going G League. Let these kids go out there and make money. And if somebody's really concerned with their education, they still get the choice. But you can always take that $100,000 you're getting from the G League and apply that to a community college and get your degree.
But okay. So
hold on.
So we're saying
we've got. Hold on. We've got Emilio Parks, who's an actual professional basketball player, giving some input here. When a player goes one and done, and it's not worth going to college, so it's good for the G League. It's right. It's gonna help them both. You're never going to have. Well, I won't say never. More often than not, you are not going to have the best basketball athletes playing in college if the G League is offering money.
Okay. But here, so here's my point. Are we totally dismissing the value of college? So here's my point.
You
when
can
I
go
say
back
that.
to college.
So absolutely you can. But then what happens to college sports? Then we're sitting over here bitching and moaning, pardon my French, that March Madness has no value anymore. Then we're sitting here bitching and moaning if football, let's say, goes to that. Let's say football goes to that. Then we can't. Then the national championship game doesn't mean anything anymore. Okay, so we can't have our
football's the only sport that it will.
Okay,
but let's go into
so maybe that's a moot point. So the NCAA March Madness, Sammy, you love March Madness. Okay, I love March Madness. I do 30 brackets a year. So here's the thing: if we're saying these kids don't need to go to college, and hey, forget these colleges, they don't give that kid any money. Yeah, they don't give that kid money, man. But look at, like I just said, I got 110 grand worth of debt looking me dead in the eyes, and I'm nervous about that every night. That kid is getting paid. That kid doesn't have to worry about debt at all when he leaves college. Tell me you wouldn't love that, Sammy. Tell me you wouldn't love not leaving a college and not having to worry about it.
How about this? How about I would love to not only not have debt, but also get $100,000 a year for playing a sport that I want to play in, because I can take that $100,000 a year and do whatever I want with it and take it to get a degree. So but let's get into.
We got to get into the next topic. We only got about 14 minutes left on the show. Next topic is kind of a good one. But when does the NBA return? This year, next year, best and worst case scenarios, guys. Go.
This year. That's mine. I think it comes.
I was totally hoping you were going to say a little more, but I guess not. So I'm going to say,
man,
you think it's done?
About it. Like, I don't even care at this point anymore, man. Like, excuse me. We've missed like 14, 15 games. The NBA this year, I was more excited to watch. I was more excited to watch replays of Olympic curling than I was to watch the NBA this year, because you know what it is? The NBA was more exciting back in 2004 when you had the Detroit Pistons, the LA Lakers, when you had like so many other teams that were contenders every year. And now what do you have? You have the past couple of years, you had the Warriors, you had the Cavs, which was awesome for us. I mean, truly it was. But now you got like the Lakers. It's all a one-sided league anymore. I don't even care at this point, man. Like, here's the thing. You're going to restart the season just to see LeBron go into playoff mode and destroy the teams that aren't prepared and win the title. How is that exciting? I'd rather them wait until February of next year, have a full offseason, do the draft in like September, have a preseason program, maybe play like a tournament around Christmas time, get the guys back in shape, you know what I mean? Start the preseason a little bit around that time and have a full-fledged season in February when free agency was able to go about, get some new guys on some new teams, draft these young, exciting players, and maybe give hope to these like mid-market teams that didn't have hope this year. Because the best part of the NBA season is day one, when like the Cavs like went out and beat whoever they beat the first game of the season, and there was hope. But there's not hope right now for anyone outside of the Lakers, the Bucks, or a couple other teams that are pretty decent. I mean, I'd rather them wait and go back and have a more finished, clean product next year.
So I think it will be this year, though. I do. I think they're going to try to squeeze the season in.
Yeah, they're not going to allow it.
Yeah, they're not going to just skip the season and be done with it and just vote on a champion. So, but yeah, we want to take the last 12 minutes, 11 minutes, whatever we got of the show, and talk about our poll we put up, and that is the Draymond versus Barkley poll.
Yeah, let's see what the votes look like.
Yeah, let me see if see who goes. Let's see if I can find it too. Why is my screen so big? Holy wow!
All right. Hey, real quick, guys. Let me touch on something Nick Billman said a minute ago. March Madness had no issues in the early 2000s when LeBron skipped college for the NBA. Of course, they didn't have any issues. You had Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, T.J. Ford, Kirk Heinrich, Mike Sweeney, excuse me. You had, who else did you have? You had Mikhail Petrus, Nick Collison, David West. You had these guys that were transcendent college players playing, man. But if we say that the best players should just go G League and forego college, that's not going to happen anymore. You're not going to have that. So that point right there is almost a moot point because
it's better for the players, though.
All right, so Draymond v. Barkley, who won?
Charles. First of all,
I hope it was Draymond just because it's Sammy.
Listen, Charles Barkley beat the hot got him guy 100% to 0. So what this has brought up, why we even is people are talking about there's a beef between Barkley and Draymond, and it's an interesting beef because they're the players you can actually argue against them. I will always say Draymond was the 4th best player on a championship team, and the 3rd best player came off the bench. Draymond was just lucky to be there. Barkley at least could lead a team. So I'm going with Barkley all day over big mouth Draymond. The one guy I wanted to hear was Emilio, because that's his guy. He likes Emilio. He likes Draymond. So I wanted to see what his
what do you got, Emilio?
His reasoning behind it is.
I think you're still watching.
While Emilio is while Emilio's forming a thought here, I would say Charles Barkley wins this argument hands down. Charles Barkley lost Moses Malone and went out and just assumed control of a Philadelphia 76ers team. Charles Barkley was Justin Timberlake, okay? Draymond Green, at best, is Lance Bass, okay? Like, just to use a boy band reference there. Draymond Green may have been the focal point of that death lineup for the Golden State Warriors, but Draymond Green, and Emilio says it right there, Draymond does his job as a great role player, but Draymond carries himself as though he's a superstar who is deserving of a $235 million contract. When I would say if anyone offered Draymond Green a $235 million contract, I go over there and ask him what he's smoking because I want some. Like, it's just insane. Like, Charles Barkley had maybe not a better career rings wise and stuff, but Charles Barkley was an alpha male, and Charles Barkley commanded respect in a locker room and didn't have to defer to anyone. Draymond Green, best believed, is deferring to Steph Curry in the locker room and definitely calls Steph Curry daddy every night when they win a game, because the Warriors aren't winning games because of Draymond Green. Draymond Green is winning.
Draymond Green is Anderson Varejao. If you put good players around him, he's going to do all this dirty work and get all this weird stuff done that the other guys don't want to do. But if you put him out there as the focal point, you are going to lose. You're going to lose every game. Like, he's not that guy. You know what I mean? But the thing is he had a big head when he was in college at Michigan State. I couldn't stand him there either because he came from a storied program with an amazing coach. He falls onto this team with the most prolific shooting point guard that I can remember seeing. And then he starts to think that he's this great guy. Now, Steph is hurt and that team is a joke. So it shows. Garbage. It shows. If Draymond Green was half the player he thought that he was, they don't have to go out there and get the snake Kevin Durant to beat LeBron, the GOAT James. How about that? So
here's the other thing. If you put Draymond Green on the Orlando Magic right now, Orlando is in a worse situation as a leader and the primary focus of your team. Orlando is a worse team today. You put Charles Barkley on any of the teams in that era, Charles Barkley not only inserts himself as an alpha male, but as the primary option and improves that team. Charles Barkley improved the Rockets.
How about this?
And he improved the Suns. Draymond's not improving anyone. Draymond's improving his brand. Charles Barkley isn't about his brand. Charles Barkley is about winning.
How about this? If you put Draymond Green on the Orlando Magic right now, they have the most balls in the lottery. If you put Charles Barkley on the Orlando Magic right now, they might not even be in the lottery. They probably make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, and not only would they make the playoffs, they'd make noise in that playoffs. Draymond Green would just kind of bark orders at people looking like Mr. Ed and blame everyone else, when Charles Barkley would take the blame on himself and say, hey, I'm pissed off that we lost. I got to be better. Draymond would be like, well, I mean, like, I got to be better, but, Steph wasn't hitting shots or Clay wasn't hitting shots. You know what I mean? Charles would own that. Draymond, I've never seen him take ownership of anything. I don't even think he ever took ownership.
Draymond Green, here's where Draymond Green falls on these championship teams. He is Anderson Varejao. He's Horace Grant. He's a less talented Dennis Rodman. On those Lakers teams, he's not even really Rick Fox, because Rick Fox is better than him.
Devin George.
You know what I mean? Like, that's George. He's maybe he's not as bad as Devin George, but like, he's just a really overrated role player that talks junk with the best of them. Like, somebody told him he was really good and he believed it.
So I do have to real quick. I'll let you guys say. My only opinion is Steph Curry I think I'm going to take it from Sammy. I truly, I'm not even going to pretend like I know about basketball with the best of them, because I don't. But what I do know is Steph Curry got injured and the Warriors absolutely suck this year. So that tells me a lot about Draymond Green.
Awful.
Yes.
So here's the thing, Emilio.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful one. He's
okay,
Dellavedova.
So it's not it's not hate when you're calling out a petulant child for being a petulant child. Draymond Green.
I'm going to stop you there. I hate Draymond Green. Hate him.
But no, what I'm saying,
I'll raise my hand right now.
It's facts. It's just facts. Draymond Green wasn't better than Harrison Barnes, and Harrison Barnes, like you said, came off the bench. And Draymond Green, in my opinion, if he didn't have Steph Curry as his daddy and Klay Thompson as his good uncle, he wouldn't be on an NBA roster right now, man. The Cavs might pick him up because the Cavs are just desperate, but
man, listen, that's like it's like Bill Cartwright telling Robert Parrish that he's better than him.
Oh
like,
God!
God! That's what I see. Like it's like, it's for real. Like, I've never understood Draymond. I do hate his guts. Don't get me wrong. Is he ever going to get a truly fair shake from me? No. But the good thing about this hatred is there's some stuff to back it. Like, he's a role player. That's what he is.
And Marcus, I kind of disagree with you.
And the funny thing is that 2016 team, that 2016 team, I mean, there are people out there who said that if Draymond plays, we don't win that championship. He's really not that guy. He's never going to be that guy.
So here's the thing. You don't have to be a leader of a team and average 20 points. Ben Wallace was the leader of that Detroit Pistons team and averaged 2 points, but he averaged like 13 boards, 3 blocks a game, and played with energy that was unparalleled amongst anyone in the league. Draymond Green doesn't have the hustle that a leader needs, and Draymond Green doesn't have the attitude that a leader needs. Sometimes a leader doesn't need to score 23 a night. Sometimes a leader needs to be just the guy who goes out there and plays a specialized role like Ben Wallace did. You can't deny that Ben Wallace was the leader of those Pistons teams. He wasn't averaging 20 a night, but he was leading that defense, and he was doing it better than Draymond Green ever did. Chauncey Billups, okay. I mean, Chauncey was a leader. He was the point guard. He was the floor general. But in the huddle, they were looking at that beautiful fro and those ugly and ones at Ben Wallace and not Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, the thing is with Ben Wallace is Ben Wallace is a worker. He was an offensive hindrance. Draymond Green scores a little bit better than Ben, but I'm still taking Ben Wallace over him, even though Ben Wallace played out of position his entire career.
All day. I'm taking that. Draymond Green plays out of position. Draymond Green should be a small forward.
Yeah, Draymond Green should be a small forward in.
But he can't even be a small forward because the dude can't shoot.
Yeah. So you know what? You're right. Rasheed Wallace better than Draymond Green.
Draymond Green should be on the West Side Shootout team, and we'll really see how.
Don't you talk about my Christmas now?
No, I'm just saying.
Disrespect my love.
I think the dudes at the West Side Shootout would just do work on Draymond Green, and Draymond Green would blame everyone but himself.
So real quick, end of the show. We're right there. I just want to open it up to a Q&A. We do have 13 to 15 viewers still. So anyone got a question or want to throw something out there, even if it's to shout their business out, whatever it may be, light up the screen on the right-hand side, and I will be more than happy to put it up there.
Marcus Pearson says the only Marcus Pearson says the only number of Draymond's that went up is turnovers. That's why money is my guy.
If Draymond Green's at the wall at recess and I'm picking a basketball team and Ryan Cole's standing there with his Air Force Ones and his backwards Indians cap, I'm picking Ryan Cole because at least Ryan Cole doesn't look like he doesn't know what the hell he's going to be doing. And he's not going to blame me if he misses a shot.
I can rebound pretty good. I'm not
Listen,
bad at rebounding.
Draymond Green is Marlon Wayans in Above the Rim. He really thinks he's good, but nobody's giving him any time.
I got to look this up. Above
Birdie is cutting Draymond Green all day.
I have to see this.
You guys are nuts. I'll tell you. You're off your rocker.
You have to have seen Above the Rim to
Let
understand that
reference.
I owned some Above the Rim Reeboks back in the day. Does that count?
Above the Rim's the most underrated basketball movie of the 90s. It's a better movie than
He Got Game.
Hoosiers. I will watch Above the Rim over Hoosiers any day.
Oh, I'd pick anything.
Let the hate come in. Just let it flow over me.
I will watch any movie instead of a movie that has Gene Hackman as its lead character. Gene Hackman is a horrible actor, and that just killed the movie for me. Hoosiers.
I did find
top basketball movies of the 90s in order. Go Above the Rim, White Man Can't Jump, and Blue Chips. Don't at me.
What does "don't at me" mean? I mean, I probably should know this, but what does that mean? I mean, I'm not trying to be the dad here in this. I mean, I'm just trying to figure some things out.
You're such a boomer,
I'm trying to
Ryan.
get hip to the game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. I don't know.
There it is.
Marlon Wayans, Draymond Green. But you got to see him play. That's where it is.
All right, 10:03, boys. What a great show. Had a blast. It's been
By the way,
fun.
Sunset Park was the best movie of the 90s for basketball.
It's been fun. It's been real. I hate you, John McCoy. I just read what it says. Anywho,
AJ Long throws a question out there real quick.
Yep.
Barkley versus Karl Malone. I'm taking Karl Malone because his body frame works better at the side at that position.
I'm taking Karl Malone all day because he's
Barkley's a better
second
finisher
scorer in NBA history. Karl Malone didn't miss games. Karl Malone was just a leader, and he was a character on Crank Yankers, man, which I don't think Charles Barkley can say. So I'm gonna pick the mailman.
I'm going with the mailman just because his nickname is the mailman. Terrible. Can it get some hallelujahs and amens?
Down.
All right, so thanks everybody for watching the show. Please don't forget to share and like. Yeah, tonight was a blast show. Had a lot of fun, and actually we missed a lot of topics, but it will be great because when we're on next, we'll be covering those ones. So thanks again.
Saturday, we'll cover everything Saturday
all day.
Saturday, yeah. So we'll see everybody Saturday at 8 p.m. This is RC Cola. I'm out, or get at me.
Sam Torres, I'm out, guys. Thanks for everything tonight.
Hey, this is Tom. I'm out. Hey, thanks so much for viewing, guys. And Pete, my son's artwork over there, I think that's pretty stellar.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
For the Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.